morning and welcome to Hello Westchester here on WCHE every Monday from 11:30 to noon. I'm Eric Lambera, joined by Kara Cordoni, publisher of Hello Westchester, which releases every Friday. You can subscribe at hellowestchesterpa.com. Welcome back, Kara. How are you this morning?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Doing good. Great to have you back. Hope you had a great vacation.
Yes, back. Well rested.
Yep.
Feeling good.
Looking forward to having you on. So, of course, we have a lot to catch up on. We'll start first here with a new era of recreational drugs, gas station high.
Yeah, so following a series of readily available substances that are kind of have the potential for misuse. I first saw this story actually on Last Week Tonight with John Oliver on HBO. He did a special on kratom and this another substance, 7-OH. But here in Westchester, the discussion started a couple weeks ago, and similarly, maybe that was raised there as well. But it was also taken note off of a new vape shop that has opened up on West Washington Street that we've talked about before. It's caused some concerns being located so close to a neighborhood. It's in a residential neighborhood, actually. And on a sign outside that shop, there's several substances listed that you can purchase inside, and one of them is kratom. So there was a ordinance proposed by a borough council member, Lisa Kearns, banning the sale of kratom in Westchester. And as part of that initiative, we've got a little background on what's going on and what exactly kratom is and this 7-OH. So we did a little investigating last week and kind of looked at these products. So I guess to start off, kratom is, well, I'll give you Lisa Kearns' definition. This is how she presented the products to the Westchester Public Safety Committee prior to her introduction of this ordinance, and she describes kratom as a product. It's unregulated, it's a psychoactive substance, and it works on the same part of your brain as the opioid does. Many have referred to it as gas station heroin. What kratom is also, in addition to all that, is actually, it is a native tree to Southeast Asia, so it is a naturally occurring, and within it there are two naturally occurring compounds, 7-hydroxymitragene, which is abbreviated to 7-OH for good reason, and then just mitragene, which is another compound within there. And in its natural form, which has been used for centuries as part of spiritual, cultural, and religious and medicinal purposes in Southeast Asia, often by chewing the leaves. But in low doses, it has effects comparable to a shot of espresso. So kind of that increased level of energy, alertness. However, kratom manufacturers have kind of latched onto that and created some lab-concentrated synthetic derivatives that achieve higher levels of those naturally occurring compounds in the higher doses that you can often find in unregulated products, often in gas stations, vape stores, but they can have, that's where you can get those opioid-like effects, such as relaxation and pain relief. They also carry a much higher risk of addiction and dependency at those levels. And this is really kind of a growing phenomenon in the culture in the U.S. According to a 2020 study, the American Journal of Preventive Medicine found the products are predominantly used here by those with an opioid use disorder or those who tend to use other types of drugs, such as weed, cocaine, and prescription stimulants, suggesting they may be used for some sort of high effect. The report suggests users use the drugs to help them treat anxiety and pain relief while curbing opioid cravings. None of these uses are approved. Actually, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has not approved kratom or 7-OH for any purpose. And it's kind of this unregulatory no man's land that is kind of what's raising concern. Because of that, the products are really very readily available. We saw them on the sign at that vape shop, but in Pennsylvania, in order to purchase something from a vape shop, you do have to be 21. That's not the case with gas stations. I did a little investigating here in Westchester. I went to the 7-Eleven on High Street. I did not find anything there, at least not easily identifiable. But at the market, at the Luke All Mart on Hannam Avenue, there was quite a few 70H products. There was also some Kradium. They are on hooks out there. They're not even behind the cases, so they're just right there. There is no restrictions on who can purchase this. This includes kids. So that is where the concerns are kind of being raised. Has to do with the dosing. In some cases, the recommended dose is 1/10 of a pill, and it varies across products. So there's very little regulation. So it is being suggested by one Westchester council member, Elisa Kearns, that these products be banned. That was introduced. There was a discussion about this at Borough Council work session a week or so ago. And the council seems to be split on the best way to approach this, with some members questioning whether this makes sense, whether or not the borough should go around banning things that it does not find favorable. Others questions the ability to enforce it. Lisa, for her part, believes that it is necessary, and she doesn't necessarily see this as a slippery slope. She said, I'm a pretty progressive, free-range kind of person, opposed to over-regulation, but when people I am sworn in to serve and protect are at risk, I can't turn a blind eye or sit passively on the sidelines waiting or hoping someone else steps forward and acts, she said. If we look at the overall regulatory landscape around these substances, there are no federal laws regulating kratom or 7-OH, as mentioned before. 7 states do have banned the sale of these products outright. 20 others regulate them, often prohibiting sales to minors and enforcing strict labeling. Pennsylvania currently has no statutes or regulations associated with the products, although there are a couple of bills that have been recently introduced on the topic. One would prohibit the sale of certain kratom products to minors, and another would require kratom processors and retailers to register with the state. And then there was a third that said it would prevent the sale and distribution of unsafe kratom products, but not a lot of definition as to what that would mean.
Yeah, I know there was one that popped up recently with the State House. It was tianepatine. Is that another one?
Yeah,
so it also is referred to as gas station heroin. So it seems like across the state, across the country, that there are some initiatives here, but it just hasn't been done yet.
I think it's new. I think this is what we're seeing, is that there's these products are trending, and therefore they don't yet have a lot of regulations associated with them. There hasn't to this point been a lot of visibility about what they are and how they work. But as they are gaining in popularity, as people are seeking alternatives, especially in the case of kratom and 7-OH, to expensive opioid treatment medicines, this is something that people are turning to. So a lot of, I think, more research needs to be done. I'm guessing some sorts of regulations need to be set up. And I think that even the federal government is exploring these products. And then there's another one that is also on the radar here, nitrous oxide. Unlike kratom and 7-OH, you probably have heard of this. It's N2O, laughing gas. It's been for a long time used to dull pain during dental procedures or childbirth. It also is used in culinary applications, particularly helping chefs whip up large batches of whipped cream. But as I put in the newsletter, if you ever sucked on a balloon outside a concert venue, you also know there's some non-legitimate uses for it. And a 2023 national survey on drug use and health from the Centers of Disease Control saw that more than 13 million people in the U.S. have taken whippets, which is kind of the, I guess, street form of that drug. According to the same report, fatal nitrous oxide poisonings rose 110% between 2019 and 2023. And hoping to stem this trend, State Senator Carolyn Comida is working to add some regulations around these products, particularly banning them for recreational use, and that includes banning all sale of flavored varieties. She said in a statement, I hope we can significantly reduce or eliminate the illicit recreational use of N2O and help prevent addiction and negative health impacts and save lives. She also pointed to a recent study out of the University of Mississippi, which found that there had been a 500% increase in N2O deaths between 2010 and 2023. And she's pointed to marketing as a reason for these increases, and I think that's fair. When I was researching the availability to these products locally, I did not see N2O that I could find. But if you go into this, the background section of the gas stations anymore, the vibrant colors, the bubblegum candy looking products, they're used for vape. Flavored vapes and for the 7-OHs and the kratom, it does have this kind of really candy-looking approach to things that make you think that maybe they're targeting a younger group.
And the fact that it's not behind the counter either. The
kratom that was right there in the open, which really does seem to be a bit concerning. You don't even have to have the courage to ask. You can just grab. So she is proposing some new legislation. She borrows from other states that have also taken these steps to kind of ban this recreational use of this product. At the same time, so it would ban the sale of for recreational purposes. It would create a registry of current manufacturers, and it would ban those flavored varieties, and then all sales would be tracked in an online portal. At the same time, she wants to protect legitimate uses. So she said that they're going to be very careful to ensure that to carve out them out of the legitimate uses out of the legislation. But she doesn't think businesses buying N2O for legitimate purposes are doing so at gas stations or smoke shops. So that's where the focus is at for those.
Yes, it'll be interesting to watch going forward. Like you said, it's such a newer phenomenon, it seems like here. So I'm curious to see going forward what happens with that.
Yeah. So
as far as some of the laws go.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see. The borough is supposed to take it up again next month with the ordinance. We'll see if they decide to pursue this themselves or if they're going to wait and see if the state will step up. And then from the state level, we'll see what happens with this N2O legislation.
So that was our top story. Let's go to our next story, metered parking limits in effect in Westchester.
Yes, another story we've been following for a little while now. So Westchester Borough has made the shift to install parking meter limits on downtown metered parking. So the two areas that these are in effect, downtown Westchester, and that'll be a 3-hour parking limit. And then also in the university area, there will be a 4-hour parking limit. I did get a list of the streets in which are impacted by this, and it's kind of a hodgepodge. It was not as clean as I thought it was going to be. I do have the actual streets listed in the newsletter. I mapped them out for myself, meant to include that, but I forgot as to where those actually are. But in some cases, particularly downtown, it's, the south side is impacted, but not the north, or the east and not the west, and this block, but not that block. I'm not sure how they came up with the list. But I did reach out to Westchester Parking Director Ramsey Reiner about this. She has said that yes, there are in effect. So all the Park Mobile, which is also in effect, is the new parking app, and all the kiosks, it's programmed in there. So they know, so the kiosks know if you can't go over the 3-hour limit, they won't let you. There's also signage coming. So just pay attention to that. If not, let the kiosk know. If you're going to be in downtown Westchester and you're planning to be here longer than 3 hours, probably best to seek out a garage or parking lot just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, especially like this weekend with the 4th of July. I'm sure some people may be making the trek out here. Now, did they give a reason why like that's being thrown out there? Just maybe for congestion's sake, or? It
is a little bit for congestion's sake. So yeah, what they say and what Ramsey has said in the past is the data shows that most people are not reaching these limits. And for those that are, if you can move to a garage or lot where there's still capacity, that does free up street parking for people who have quicker trips to run. I do also know, which is like phase 2, they are looking to add more 15-minute loading zone options so people can make quick trips in and out. It's something that people have said they missed from the Mayodo parking days where you could just drop a quarter, run in and run back out. So they're looking to add more of those. So I think trying to free up a little more space on the street to have those loading zones, encouraging people who are going to be here for a long time, for the whole day, particularly if you work somewhere and you got an 8-hour shift, maybe park in the garage.
Yeah, I think it is good to see that they're trying, you mentioned with like the 15-minute zones, like it's good to see that they are at least listening to people and trying to implement some of these changes. They changed the app. It seems to be more user-friendly. So I think that's something good that's been going on.
Yeah, I think so. I think maybe as a collective, I think we're going to be happier. I know some of this movement forward has been painful, but I think maybe at the end of the day, we will hopefully be in a better place when it comes to parking in downtown Westchester.
Right. It's been a bit of an adjustment for sure. So we are at the middle of the show here. We're going to take a quick break. We'll have the quick updates as well as looking ahead to some things on the other side. So stay tuned. Welcome back to Hello Westchester. I'm Eric Lambera, joined by Kara Cordoni, publisher of Hello Westchester, which releases every Friday. You can subscribe at hellowestchesterpa.com. So picking up where we left off, we had some quick updates to get to, and the first we'll go to is West Goshen holding its first of 2 hearings on Westchester's proposed master plan.
Yeah, so a year ago, Westchester University introduced its 10-year master plan, which includes a variety of projects it's hoping to accomplish over the next decade or so. Those projects happen in the 3 municipalities, Westchester Borough, West Goshen Township, and East Bradford Township. West Goshen and Westchester both require that the university hold a convention or conditional use hearing on these plans and get approval. Again, so the approval will be on the overarching plan, not particularly on any one project. Those would have to go through the land development process as usual. So this is really like both the West Goshen Township and Westchester Boroughs in the same process right now. Needs just to sign off on the overall arching plan. West Goshen got their first look at their township supervisors, and residents got their first chance to weigh in on the plan last Monday. It's not, as our roving reporter Margie Swart learned, is not going to be a quick process. It was a 2.5-hour meeting, and that's just one of 2. They did not get through a lot of what was slated, but they are going to explore things like traffic, parking, housing, future development, and how these issues are likely to affect the surrounding neighborhoods.
Yeah, and I did see that that they're going to reconvene on the 30th, so tomorrow for a second planned hearing.
That's right. So they're on number 2. Westchester Borough held its third last week as well. So it's going to be a long process, but they are working their way through it. So lots to come on that, though.
Yep, that seems like it's in the works for a little while here. Let's go next to John O. Green Park gets to go ahead to fix its Splash Park feature.
Yeah, so the Splash Park is out again at John O. Green Park. I know I did a story on this before we went on break, but didn't cover it here. The Westchester Public Works has rigged a sprinkler-like system over there, so there is some water flowing into that park for kids that need to cool off this summer, particularly this week. But it is not the Splash Park as is typically there. The plans for the Splash Park were over budget, a combination of missed grants, lost revenue opportunities, additional expenses required around the project. It required an additional $95,000 to be approved by Borough Council. Tough budget year, but the borough was able to find some savings. There were some savings on the Gay Street project that they were able to apply, as well as they're going to push off a planned hoops project. So that's expected. So the project is going to go forward, and it will be hopefully to start this fall, so that the splash park is back in place for next year.
Then, speaking of park upgrades, you had some news coming out of Marshall Square Park.
Yes.
As far as making it easier for visitors to get into town.
Yes, yeah. So exciting announcement for Marshall Square Park. They are adding a sidewalk across along Franklin Street. This will make it easier for people to head in to downtown from the park. You don't have to walk on the street there if you're on the east side of the park. And I think with the completion of this, the project is set to begin this month, and hopefully will be done by the end of the summer, sometime in August.
Yep, so that'll be coming up. And then also the next story we had here, 4 new businesses promise novel diversions for residences. Yeah,
so some fun stuff coming or here already. So if you like to play golf, Birdie Time Golf Company is an indoor golf simulator and driving range that opened at 1210 Ward Avenue. This is across from the Brandywine Airport. It opened earlier this month. It's a warehouse-like facility. It features 6 simulator bays at an indoor putting green. There's also lawn games. It is currently BYO Food and Drink. However, they are working to build partnerships with local restaurants and are hoping to secure a brewery license for the future. So that's one new retail location opened. We also have, this is not here yet, but Wonder House Play is opening on East Gay Street. This is a indoor playground for younger kids. I think it's going to be similar to Lulu's Casita, which was on High Street and closed last year. There will be playgrounds, and there's also going to be in-house coffee that they're working on. This weekend, they held a free Grown Up and Me music class in the Gay Street, just outside their future home. I was by for that. There was 200 people there, so like a lot of people are excited for this opening when that comes. Also, Goodwill over at 10 East Street Road is now open. This is in the former Walgreens. So if you're looking for thrifting opportunities, or you just want to get rid of some of your older items, great place to have such a convenient location. I actually got a chance to stop by this weekend. It was well stocked and well attended. It was pretty busy when I was there. So that's a kind of a nice addition. And then this one's not really so much of diversion, but as an update is Pete's Express Car Wash on East Market Street has reopened as flagship car wash. The companies merged and promised more locations to choose from and additional services such as interior cleaning, but unfortunately those are not available locally. If you want to take advantage of that, you got to go to Phoenixville or New Jersey. I did notice that leaving the borough the one day, I saw the different signage and everything, and so that makes sense. So yes, you weren't the only one. I got a tip off of that on Facebook, or one of the Facebook groups, I believe. Right, so the rebranding of the car wash as well as several other businesses as well. Let me go next to, we had Goose Creek Sewer System getting a much-needed upgrade. Yes, so about a year ago, we learned that the Goose Creek Sewer System, which serves the southeast section of the borough, was at capacity, and it was at one point so bad that they could not add a single new connection to the system without first submitting a plan of action to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection. The borough did get that part done last November, which allowed them to add about 20 new connections, still very small. And now they are beginning work on the first phase of this project. This is going to be upgrading 4 pipes under Maple Alley from Linden Street to Lacey Street. Once completed, it will increase capacity by 364 EDUs. This would be enough to cover 250 East Market Street, which is where Rubenstein was. Obviously, there's some planned apartments expected for that location, as well as 410 South High Street, which is Burger King. We're not sure what's going on that location, but they are still planning for that. So those would be included. After this is completed, Phase 2 would upgrade 4 additional pipes under Maple Alley from Lacey to Union Street. That would add another 329 EDUs of capacity. Phase 2 is not expected to start until about 2027, though.
Yep, so that'll be coming up as well. And I know we have a few minutes left. Did we want to do the Westchester Borough Council raising salaries?
Yeah, let's do that, and then we'll hop to the
upcoming events. Yep.
Yeah. So, just to keep an eye on, last 2 weeks ago, Borough Council voted to raise salaries for future council members as well as the mayor of Westchester. The final amount has not been announced yet. The topic is being returned to the Administration, Communication, and Technology Committees, but the numbers being proposed, currently both the mayor and council members get a stipend of $4,125 for their service. Increases are being proposed to $6,915 and $8,400 for the mayor. That represents a 67% increase for council members and a more than 100% increase for mayor. I think it's kind of a tough sell once everyone's complaining about budget issues at this point. So we'll see how that goes, but keeping an eye on that.
Right. So the borough budget, so you mentioned, right. So as far as the budget goes, so potential for increases for council. I guess, on the one end, it is for future council members, but I'm sure people will be talking about that a bit, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
And then looking ahead, I know we had a few events coming up, of course, with the 4th of July on Saturday.
Yes. So kicking that off on July 1st is a flag-raising ceremony at Westchester Borough Hall. That takes place at 9:30 a.m. Also on July 1st is the Westchester University is hosting the 250 U.S. World Association of Marching Bands National Championships. That sounds like a fun one. The bands from around the world compete. And then on Friday, July is First Friday at downtown Westchester. There's a summer concert series. The couple of bands playing both at the historic courthouse as well as the 44 West Plaza. And then on July 4th, don't forget the Westchester Growers Market for your holiday needs. They will be open from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Yep, so lots of fun stuff coming up. Make sure to take advantage of that. And Kara, thank you as always. Hope you have a great 4th of July.
Thank you.
And we'll see you later. And thank you, listeners, for checking out today's show. And we will talk to you next time.